Asmadgurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha, Jai Shri Ram. So this will be part 2 of the lecture on the age of Ramayana, a short video. In part 1, we have established that Ramayana is 17 to 18 million years old. And we have also quoted verses from Puranas which are describing the age of Ramayana to that effect. And we also explained the division of time into yugas, mahayugas, manvantaras and kalpas by our sages and ancestors, and how old we are as beings, as this whole creation, how old it is really, including humans. See, the problem is, and I don't want to debate this, science is important and science and proof are really important for us. But this science also keeps evolving. And given that these facts from Ramayana, they contradict with, let's say, evolution theory, which I am not really debating here, that can be a separate topic. Or they contradict with this Aryan Dravidian influence, like Aryans came from somewhere, Europe or something, and then influenced people here, so that that the Westerners would say that everything is theirs, right? So all of this would challenge those theories. That's why our history has been termed as mythology, myth by these people, and our great people continue calling it mythology because we are always happy following them. Right? I am not saying we should not follow the good things, but wherein our own history is called as mythology, please, right? And if you have problems with that, leave this, stop listening to this. Okay, so coming back to now in this series, right? Because we are basing everything on Ramayana. In this lecture, I will be talking about events from Ramayana which describe the antiquity of Ramayana and even events prior to Ramayana, and which so thus establishing how old this whole creation is. So first let's start with an event in Sundarakanda. So when Hanuman goes to Lanka, he sees many things in Lanka: the army of Ravana, the mansions, the beautiful roads, the whole technology in Lanka. He also sees Pushpaka Vimana. Pushpaka Vimana is another technological advancement there, right? Then he also sees 4 tusked elephants with 4 tusks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 tusks. So this is the shloka which is in the 4th Sarga, 28th shloka of Sundarakanda. Rathai yanai vimanaischa tatha gajahayai shubhai varanaischa chaturdamtai shweta abhra nichayopamai. So here he is talking about 4 tusked chaturdamtai elephants. And there is an agreement even from the modern people that such creatures called as Gomphothers existed. They are called as, if you see Wikipedia talks about Gomphotheres. I cannot pronounce it correctly. So such beings with 4 tusks, such elephants existed 1.6 to 12 million years ago as per the current their dating. Now here we have to remember one thing. I am quoting the Wikipedia or modern things not as a base, but wherever there is an agreement with our history, I will quote them, but I will not be basing these modern points to prove or take my side. The proof is already there. This history that we are talking about, Ramayana or our Puranas, they were passed on from generation to generation. They were not corrupted by, today, yes, in the recent 100 to 200 years, because of the invasions, we have started to question all of these things. But how do we trust these things? Whether it's Ramayana, Puranas, they were passed on from generation to generation. It's just like when my father says, my grandfather existed, my father has seen him and he has described his features to me, and that becomes the proof for me. Right? So this is one incident which describes these 4 tusked elephants. So it kind of talks about the antiquity of Ramayana. Okay. Then let's look at another incident in Ramayana. So again, from we go back to now Kishkinda Kanda, wherein Sugriva is sending monkeys in order to search for Sita where Ravana has captivated Sita in different directions. And there, in the west direction, he describes a mountain called as Hemagiri, and he describes flying lions, lions with wings on that mountain Hemagiri. So, Sindhu Sagarayoh Chaiva Sangame Tatra Parvataha Mahan Hemagirir Nama Shatashrungo Mahadrumaha Tatra Prastheshu Ramyeshu Simha Pakshagamah Sthitah Timi Matsya Gajamschaiva Nidani Aropayantite. Okay, so this is talking about Kishkinda Kanda, 42nd Sarga. So, if you see lions which could fly and go catch their prey, get that prey back to their caves and feed on them. This is what Sugriva is describing. Such lions exist on this mountain called as Hemagiri. And in the Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Persian scriptures, I will not call them mythologies, such descriptions of winged lions are there. Even in some of the Middle Eastern and Mediterranean lands, there are stories about creatures with a lion body and a face of a bird, right? Head of a bird. And so these all cannot be just mythologies or imaginations, right, of people of yesteryears. They have heard of such things being seen either directly or through their ancestors, and this thing has been passed on from generations. Similarly, in our own history, in one of the versions, it is told that after Nrisimha himself is a lion-headed man, right? To control his rage, Lord Shiva takes the form of Sharabha, a gigantic creature. And again, to subdue that Sharabha, Narasimha takes the form of a bird with multiple heads. It is called as Gandabherunda. So this is talking about the bird as well as the lion form together, right? And this image can be seen today in Srirangam, a famous big temple in South India, in Tamil Nadu, if you go there, about that Gandabherunda, right? If somebody pays attention to that. So again, so this winged lions or four-tusked elephants are talking about the kind of creatures that existed earlier. And we also talk about mountains that could fly and mountains that could grow. So when, again, coming back to Sundarakanda, when Hanuman is traveling towards Lanka through the ocean, the ocean god, Samudra Deva, he says to a mountain which resides in the ocean, that mountain is called Mainaka, and he tells that mountain, see, Hanuman is flying to accomplish Rama's work, and Rama, his ancestors, are the reason for the existence of oceans. Sagara is the forefather of Rama, and he and his sons are described to be the cause of the split of these continents and the creation of oceans in between. Now, how they did that, what technology they had, we don't know, right? But that is told cryptically. Another thing very important is our scriptures talk about some of these things cryptically so that they are perhaps not misused today. So there, he says, ocean says to mountain Mainaka that since Hanuman is coming on Rama's work and I have to be, I have gratitude towards their whole race, Ikshvaku dynasty. So please give him some shelter on let him rest on your peak. And you are a mountain that can grow left to right, top to bottom. You can grow in all directions. So please you grow and give shelter to Hanuman. So this is what Samudra Deva is saying to Mainaka mountain, right? So here, Tiryak urdhvam adhascheva shaktiste shailavartitum tasmat samchodayami tvam uttishta girisattama. This is in 5th Kanda, Sundara Kanda, 1st Sarga and 94th Shloka. So it is mountains, they had that inner capacity to modify their dimensions, to distribute their material in such a way that they could become flat or grow, right? And not just that, it is told that when Mainaka, he takes a human form later to talk to Hanuman, right? To convince Hanuman to take rest on him and eat certain fruits on him. So tam akashagatam viram akasho samupasthitah prito hृष्टमनाः vakyam abravit parvatah kapim manusham dharayan rupam atmanah shikhare sthitah. So this is again Mainaka. He takes a human form and converses with Hanuman, asking him to rest. And then he describes that earlier, that is much before Ramayana, mountains also could fly. So he says that I could fly, and because we mountains were causing a lot of problems to the beings on earth by flying and landing killing people perhaps, and destroying the vegetation there, Indra was angry with us and he punished us and cut away our wings. That's what Mainaka tells. Purvam krutayugo tata parvatah pakshino bhavan tehi jagmur dishas sarva garudanila veginaha. So we could fly with the speed, not just having wings, we could fly with the speed of Garud and wind. That's what we were. That's what Mainaka explains to Hanuman. So this is talking about the age of Ramayana, how old it is, as well as the antiquity of the entire creation here, even incidents before Ramayana. Not just that. If you question this, then all the people who worship Hanuman today should then question themselves that, oh, we were just believing that Hanuman could fly across the ocean and go and destroy Lanka there, right? How can a monkey fly over the ocean, right? All these questions, all these are facts that were recorded in our history by Valmiki Maharshi. Valmiki Maharshi was given the vision by Lord Brahma himself. He could see what was happening continuously, and that is why Ramayana is our history. It is not mythology. And it talks about all these events, which if you want to believe or not, these are things that have happened and they have been passed on through our generations. Similarly, Ramayana talks about birds like Jatayu which could speak, and it also speaks about the capabilities of people during that time like Hanuman or anybody who could hear other beings, invisible beings speak. So for example, when Hanuman destroys Lanka, he sets Lanka to fire, he thinks whether Mother Sita is alive and whether in his rage he caused damage to his own work, right, by also burning the Ashokavana. Then he hears certain charanas in the sky, heavenly beings, discussing, oh, what a great feat Hanuman did and how luckily Sita is safe. So this is the shloka, 55th sarga of Sundarakanda, 29th shloka. Satatha chintayan tatra devya dharma parigraham Shushrava Hanuman Vakyam Charananam Mahatmanam. So these were the capabilities of the beings back then. And if you go further, there is also a concept of a wormhole, which today's scientists talk about. That you could go from one dimension to the other, or from one space to the other through a wormhole, right? One time to the other. So such wormholes are described in Ramayana, especially when you see Kishkinda Kanda, the monkeys under the leadership of Angada who are traveling towards south, they get lost in the Vindhyas and in a big cave. That cave was designed by a demon called Maya, and he tried to create a parallel Swarga or a parallel heaven there, and Indra was angry and he destroys that Maya. So they get lost in that wormhole, and a lady called Swayamprabha, who is in that wormhole, and gets them out of it. And they have to close their eyes, and then she says that you have to close your eyes, and then within a minute they are out of the hole, and they are transported to the southern sea. So, and within that wormhole, there is there is a huge, beautiful creation of whatever you can find whatever you want. It's like heaven, right? The food that you want, the rivers, the streams, the buildings, the mansions, the facilities, everything that you can think of, Maya had created there. Similarly, there is a concept of there is a story of Vishwamitra sending Trishanku, an Ikshvaku king, to heaven, and when the gods there did not accept a person with a human body, then Vishwamitra creates a parallel heaven for Trishanku. So all these are the events that are described out there. And there is also, so we have talked about Ramayana and Rama's time, right, till now. Things happened during Rama's time. Let us also look at the age-old things that happened before Rama, which are described in Valmiki Ramayana. So, when Rama and Lakshmana, this is in Balakanda, they are following sage Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra takes them to an ashrama called as Siddhashrama, in which the incarnation of Lord Mahavishnu as Vamana has occurred. And he says that many yugas before Rama, many yugas before Ramayana, right? That's what it means. This place was blessed by the Supreme Lord through his incarnation as Lord Vamana. And it describes that here is where the Supreme Lord, for the benefit of all the worlds, did penance, that is the contemplating on what is good for all the worlds and the next course of his actions, right? He was contemplating there many yugas ago. That's what is told. This is Balakanda 29th Sarga, 2nd Shloka. Iha Rama Mahabahu Vishnur Deva Namaskritah Varshani Subahun Iha Tatha Yugashatanicha Tapascharana Yogartham Uvasa Sumahatapa. Okay, to practice his penance and contemplation. He was here many yugas, Yuga Shatanicha, 100 yugas even before that, right? He blessed this particular place. That's what Vishwamitra says. So you imagine Ramayana itself, we are saying 17 to 18 million years ago, and we are talking about the incarnation of Vamana when we talk about Dashavataras, right? That happened hundreds of yugas before Ramayana. And today there is this meaningless mapping of Dashavataras to the evolution from fish to this thing, right? But people also have to do research on. I am not debating this, but people, if they are capable, I am saying, should also research on what is told here. That we have been existing since these many years. And also Jatayu describes to Rama, when Rama meets Jatayu for the first time, the whole creation. And how different creatures evolved together. Maybe we can talk about it in a separate topic, but our Puranas like Vishnu Purana or many other Puranas and even Ramayana talk about how all the creatures were created simultaneously. And this again contradicts with some of the things. But let somebody research this out, the possibilities of this. The problem is that people have taken something, they think that they have proven it and they are living with that. No problem in that. Till whatever we can take, we agree with that, right? So today, if you question this, they will, saying that, oh, we don't, if we say that we don't believe man came from monkey, they kind of make fun of us that you first of all don't even know the evolution theory. Man didn't come from monkey. Both of them, man and monkey, have a common ancestor. So this much we also know, right? So when we say man from monkey, don't take it literally, right? We also know what the evolution theory is. We are also educated, but what we will have to look at it is that we are saying that there is a common ancestor Manu, right, and our Prajapatis, right, through whom the whole creation has occurred. It is like a chip in which there is a knowledge that is stored, the entire knowledge, and then, or the entire creation is stored, and then when the creation has to be taken out, like when you switch on your computer, you have all the information, the whole thing is nothing new is coming out. What is existing is coming out, including all these forms that we see. And then there is another aspect of it to conclude. Some people debate that in Ramayana it describes when Sugriva is describing to the monkeys who have to travel southwards, he describes kingdoms of Andhra, current Andhra, Kerala, Pandyas, etc. to the monkeys. So many of the historians say, oh, this is very recent, so Ramayana should be just few thousand years old. But remember that the same Ramayana, Vasishtha Maharshi, he talks to Rama about his lineage of Ikshvaku dynasty. And he describes many generations of Ikshvaku dynasty till the beginning of creation to Rama in that, right? So he's talking about till the time of Manu. He's talking about that to Rama. So imagine how old Ikshvaku dynasty was when Rama, during the time of Rama himself. Millions, billions years of old it was, right? Ikshvaku dynasty. And if you take in the same way, yeah, perhaps the Pandya kings or the Kerala kingdoms, Andhra kingdoms, their names existed since then, and that lineage of those kings continued till very recently, and that is why recently also we have heard these names. So we don't have to get confused saying that these are very recent. Okay, and yeah, I think that is pretty much what I wanted to cover. So we will continue this with other topics on Ramayana. This topic about the age of Ramayana, we will end it here. And if I find more events and examples from our Ramayana in future, I'll definitely make one other video. Jai Shri Ram, Srimati Ramanujaya Namaha, Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha.